Some stories explode across the internet in just a few hours. A dramatic headline appears. A short video clip starts spreading. Suddenly, thousands of people believe they already know the whole story. But sometimes, the truth is much more complicated. That is exactly what happened when fans began sharing claims that Matt Armstrong's dad had pulled the trigger on plans for a Miami workshop and that a shocking threat had been revealed. The words sounded serious. They grabbed attention. But what was really going on? For longtime viewers, the idea felt almost impossible to believe. Matt Armstrong had spent years building his reputation by bringing damaged supercars back to life, turning impossible projects into success stories. His channel wasn't just about cars anymore. It was about taking huge risks, solving problems, and refusing to quit when everything seemed to go wrong. Then came talk of Miami. The idea of expanding into the United States excited fans around the world. A workshop in Miami could mean bigger builds, new collaborations, and access to one of the world's most exciting car scenes. It sounded like the next big chapter in Matt's journey. But before those dreams could become reality, unexpected comments and dramatic online headlines began raising questions. Clips were shared without full context. Social media users rushed to reach their own conclusions. Some claimed the family was divided. Others suggested the entire project was falling apart. Here's the important part. Despite the sensational headlines, there has been no credible public evidence that Matt Armstrong's father made a literal threat involving violence, or that such claims have been confirmed by reliable reporting. Much of the online discussion appears to come from exaggerated titles, edited clips, and speculation rather than verified facts. As with many viral stories, separating attention-grabbing language from confirmed information is essential. That didn't stop the rumors. In fact, they only grew louder. Fans searched every new upload for clues. Every comment, every joke, and every conversation was analyzed as if it contained a hidden message. The excitement surrounding the Miami workshop slowly turned into a mystery that everyone wanted to solve. And while viewers focused on the latest headlines, many forgot the much bigger story, how a young man from Britain had built one of YouTube's most successful automotive channels through determination, setbacks, and an incredible willingness to take chances. Before we can understand why the Miami plans created so much discussion, we have to go back to where it all started. What do you think? Are viral headlines making it harder than ever to separate facts from rumors? Let us know in the comments. Long before people were talking about Miami, Matt Armstrong was known for something much simpler. He loved cars, especially the ones most people had already given up on. While many dreamed of owning a perfect supercar, Matt became fascinated by the broken ones. Cars that had been badly crashed. Cars that insurance companies had written off. Cars that looked impossible to save. Most people saw scrap. Matt saw potential. That way of thinking would shape his entire career. He began sharing the rebuild process on YouTube, showing every challenge instead of hiding the mistakes. If a repair failed, viewers saw it. If a part didn't fit, they watched him figure it out. When a project took longer than expected, he didn't pretend everything was easy. That honesty became one of his biggest strengths. Instead of polished television-style episodes, viewers felt like they were standing beside him in the workshop. Every success felt earned because they had witnessed every setback along the way. Then something unexpected happened. The audience didn't just grow. It exploded. Millions of viewers became hooked on watching damaged Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, and other high-performance cars slowly return to life. Each project felt like a puzzle with hundreds of pieces, and every episode ended with another reason to come back. But success brought pressure. The bigger the channel became, the bigger the expectations grew. Fans expected more expensive builds, more dramatic recoveries, and even greater risks. Every new project had to top the last one. That wasn't always easy. Behind every finished video were countless hours of planning, sourcing parts, solving unexpected problems, and managing a growing business. What viewers watched in 30 minutes often represented weeks, or even months, of work. Fortunately, Matt wasn't doing it alone. His family, including his father, became familiar faces to many viewers. Their conversations, different opinions, and practical advice added another layer to the channel. Rather than feeling like actors following a script, They came across as real people working together, sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing. Those natural moments helped build trust with the audience. Still, working with family isn't always simple. Business decisions carry financial risks. Expansion requires confidence. And when different generations see opportunities in different ways, disagreements are almost certain to happen. That doesn't necessarily mean conflict is out of control. In fact, healthy debate is common in family-run businesses. Public clips or edited moments can easily make ordinary disagreements seem much more dramatic than they really are, especially when shared online without their original context. But that wasn't the real surprise. As Matt's reputation spread beyond the UK, opportunities began appearing from around the world. Car enthusiasts wanted to collaborate. Businesses wanted partnerships. International projects suddenly became realistic. One destination stood above the rest. Miami. Known for its luxury cars, year-round driving weather, and thriving automotive culture, the city seemed like the perfect place for an ambitious new chapter. For fans, it sounded like the natural next step. Yet bringing that dream to life would prove far more complicated than anyone expected. And before the first major plans could fully take shape, questions began emerging that would fuel one of the biggest discussions the channel had ever faced. If you're enjoying stories that separate the facts from the headlines, subscribe now, because the biggest twist in this story is still ahead. For many creators, success means reaching more viewers. For Matt Armstrong, success also meant thinking bigger than the workshop where his journey began. By the time talk of Miami started appearing, his channel had become much more than a place to watch car rebuilds. It had grown into a business with employees, partnerships, suppliers, and millions of loyal followers waiting for every upload. Expanding overseas no longer sounded impossible. It sounded like the next logical step. And Miami seemed to offer everything. The city is famous for its luxury car culture. On any given day, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, and Rolls-Royces can be seen cruising its streets. Major automotive events attract enthusiasts from around the world, while ports and shipping facilities make importing and exporting vehicles more practical than in many other locations. From the outside, opening a workshop there looked like a dream. But dreams have price tags. Finding the right property was only the beginning. Running a workshop in another country involves permits, taxes, insurance, equipment, staffing, shipping, and legal requirements that are very different from those in the United Kingdom. Every decision carries financial risk, especially when your audience expects regular content while the business is still growing. Then there was another challenge: family. Viewers had become used to seeing Matt's father offering practical advice. Sometimes he encouraged bold ideas. Other times, he questioned whether the risks were worth taking. Those conversations became part of the channel's appeal because they reflected something many families experience: one generation eager to move fast, another reminding everyone to think carefully before making a costly decision. As clips from these discussions spread across social media, some viewers interpreted strong opinions as signs of a serious family dispute. Dramatic thumbnails and titles added fuel to the conversation, with phrases like, "Everything has changed," or "The project is over," encouraging people to expect the worst. Yet public evidence tells a more measured story. While Matt and his team have openly discussed the challenges of expansion in videos, there has been no verified reporting confirming that the Miami project was derailed by a literal threat from his father. Viral headlines often exaggerate ordinary disagreements or emotional moments to attract clicks, especially when short clips are taken out of context. That distinction matters. Building a business is rarely smooth. Delays, budget concerns, and changing plans are common, particularly when a project spans different countries. A disagreement over timing or strategy does not automatically mean relationships have broken down. Still, the speculation refused to disappear. Every new upload was examined for hidden clues. Fans searched the background of workshop scenes, listened closely to every conversation, and debated whether the Miami dream was still alive. Some believed the expansion was only delayed. Others thought it had quietly been abandoned. The uncertainty became part of the story itself. And perhaps that says something about modern internet culture. Sometimes the mystery surrounding a project attracts almost as much attention as the project itself. Have you ever had a dream that looked perfect at first, but became much harder once you saw what it would really take? Share your experience in the comments. By this point, the story had taken on a life of its own. Search for Matt Armstrong and Miami, and you could quickly find bold thumbnails, dramatic titles, and confident claims. Some videos suggested the workshop plan had collapsed overnight. Others hinted at family drama behind closed doors. A few even used words like threat, without explaining exactly what had happened. The more people clicked, the faster the story spread. But when you slow down and look at the available evidence, a different picture begins to emerge. Matt Armstrong has built his career in public. Much of his business, his workshop, and even many of his biggest challenges have been documented on his own YouTube channel. When problems arise, whether it's a damaged engine, a delayed shipment, or a project that goes over budget, he has often chosen to show them rather than hide them. That openness has earned him trust. It also means viewers sometimes feel they know every part of his life. But no YouTube channel tells the entire story. A 20-minute episode is carefully edited. Hours of conversation are reduced to a few key moments. Jokes can lose their meaning when clipped out of context. A serious discussion can sound much harsher if viewers only hear one sentence instead of the full exchange. That is where many viral misunderstandings begin. In the case of the Miami workshop, there is no publicly verified evidence that Matt's father made a literal violent threat or that such a threat ended the project. Much of the online discussion appears to rely on sensational headlines, reaction videos, and speculation rather than confirmed reporting or official statements. That doesn't mean every concern was imaginary. Major business decisions naturally create tension. Expanding into another country is expensive. Delays happen. Opinions differ. Family members may strongly disagree about timing, finances, or risk. Those moments are real. The dramatic version often isn't. What makes this story especially interesting is how modern social media rewards certainty, even when the facts remain incomplete. A title asking a question may attract attention, but a title declaring a shocking answer often attracts even more. Before long, opinion begins to sound like fact. Millions of people have seen this pattern before. A short clip goes viral. Another creator reacts. A third channel repeats the claim. Soon, the original source becomes almost impossible to find. That cycle affects more than celebrities. It shapes how audiences understand public figures, businesses, and even everyday events. Perhaps the biggest lesson from the Miami story isn't about one workshop at all. It's about how quickly narratives can grow once they leave their original context. And while fans continued searching for answers, Matt Armstrong kept doing what had built his career from the beginning, working on cars, creating videos, and focusing on the next challenge. Yet one important question still remained. Would the Miami dream ever become reality, or had the entire experience changed the direction of his future forever? For every successful YouTuber, there comes a moment when the audience starts expecting more than entertainment. They expect constant growth, bigger projects, bigger risks, bigger surprises. Matt Armstrong reached that point years ago. Every rebuild seemed to raise the stakes. If he restored one damaged supercar, viewers wondered which one would come next. If he completed an impossible repair, fans immediately looked ahead to an even greater challenge. Success became both an opportunity and a responsibility. That kind of pressure is difficult for any creator. It becomes even harder when family, employees, sponsors, and millions of viewers are all watching the same decisions unfold in real time. The Miami workshop became a perfect example. To some fans, it represented unlimited possibilities. To others, it looked like an expensive gamble. Both views had reasonable arguments behind them. That is often how major business decisions work. One person sees opportunity, another sees risk. Neither is automatically wrong. Throughout Matt's journey, his father has often represented the voice of experience. Viewers have seen him question plans, challenge assumptions, and encourage careful thinking before large commitments are made. Those conversations have become part of what makes the channel feel genuine. They remind people that success is rarely built by one person alone. But genuine conversations can also be misunderstood. When short clips circulate online without the surrounding discussion, strong opinions can appear much harsher than they really were. A passionate disagreement about money or timing can quickly become a headline suggesting a family crisis. That is why it is so important to separate confirmed facts from speculation. As of now, there is no verified evidence that a literal violent threat from Matt Armstrong's father ended the Miami workshop plans. The most reliable public information points instead to the ordinary realities of running a growing business, weighing costs, managing risks, and making difficult choices that are rarely as simple as they appear on social media. Perhaps that is the real story. Not a shocking headline, not a hidden feud, but the challenge of growing a global brand while remaining true to the people who helped build it from the beginning. Whether the Miami workshop eventually becomes reality or not, Matt Armstrong has already shown an ability to adapt. His career has never followed a straight line. Every setback has forced him to rethink, rebuild, and move forward. That resilience is one reason millions continue to watch. The next chapter may involve a new workshop, a different country, or an entirely unexpected project. Whatever comes next, viewers will likely be there, not just for the finished result, but for the journey itself. And maybe that's the biggest reason his story continues to resonate. It's not only about repairing cars. It's about solving problems, facing uncertainty, and finding a way through when the path ahead isn't clear. If you enjoyed this documentary, there's one final question to think about. How much of what we believe online comes from verified facts, and how much comes from headlines designed to grab our attention? The next story may challenge what you think you know even more.